Early VR News interviews from the archives. GTC interview with FIZZFIZZ.
All right, we have Fizzy here, an amazing person and a pro comp player, and we're going to do an interview real quick. So I got a couple questions for you. First one is going to be, how did you get into Gorilla Tag in the first place?
So the way I got in, actually, was my brother. He had a Quest 1 at the time, and he barely let me use it, but when he did, he'd always have a new game, and then one of the times it ended up being Gorilla Tag. That was his new game he found, and I played it, and I instantly fell in love with it. So that was 3 years ago, so I've been playing Gorilla Tag for quite a while.
Nice. All right, sick. Second question is, what attracted you to GTC specifically?
Well, I guess since I was one of the founders of it, I guess I'll answer what made me want to start GTC, and that was mainly the current state of comp at the time. Me and the other board directors, we thought comp could be a lot better, there's a lot of improvements that could be made, and we made those improvements, and that's what GTC is now today.
Hell yeah. All right. Can you share a moment from your career that was particularly rewarding or memorable that has to do with comp?
Probably be, let's see, when we launched ranked codes and ranks. That was probably pretty awesome. That was probably a pretty big point, getting ranks added to GTC.
All right, sick. If I'm demonically staring at you, it's just because I'm trying to keep my head stable.
Understandable.
All right. How do you prepare for scrims and matches when it comes time?
I haven't played too many matches and scrims recently. I don't have the time, but I've definitely played a rank codes. And usually before I go into rank code, I'll hop in a lobby, go into some pubs, and just practice walls, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy.
All right, cool. Just getting warmed up. That's always good. All right, being that you are so experienced, what advice would you give to someone who's new to GTC?
My best advice would probably be when I first joined comp, I loved being on a team. It was really fun, so I love playing scrims and all that. So I'd probably recommend getting on a team, hanging out with other people, playing together, rank codes and scrims and all that. Just being part of the community is definitely pretty important.
All right, cool. I wonder for future interviews if I should have the person rephrase the question a little bit. You are automatically, but maybe I should mention. Yeah. How do you strategize with your team when you're playing?
So it's been a while since I was on a team, but what we would do is we had a call out and locations on the map image that had every wall and tree marked down. So we would go over that, make sure we knew all the call outs, just playing a lot together.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah, I forgot the question halfway through, so I don't know if I answered it properly, but
how do you strategize? How do you strategize with your team? Just
okay,
in general. You got it.
That was fine.
All right, this is a pretty crazy one, and maybe not as relevant to you, but you do play ranked matches. So how do you manage your nerves or pressure during important GTC matches?
Well, obviously, I haven't been in any official GTC matches, but rank codes are still pretty stressful. So what I usually do is I just put on some music, turn it down a bit so I can still hear the game, and then I usually just play like that. So it definitely helps me.
Nice. All right. And so this is a really good one. In your opinion, what sets GTC apart from traditional esports?
I think it's the core of what GTC is based on, and that's Gorilla Tag itself. The Gorilla Tag movement is so diverse. It gives you ultimate freedom to do whatever you want, really. So it just creates these super interesting matches, scrims, and it really just pulls you into the game and makes you want to play it. I think it's just the movement of Gorilla Tag.
All right. And what's your ultimate goal as a GTC competitor?
I guess the ultimate goal, although I don't necessarily play comp, I would like to get back up to Sapphire. I haven't really grinded a ton since the new ranks red, so I dropped down. So next thing I probably do in rank codes will be getting back up to Sapphire.
Hell, and then we had one. This is an added question from Astro, but it's a good one. It's real basic. Okay. But what headset do you prefer to play on?
So this is interesting. I prefer to play on my Quest 3, but as everybody knows, the tracking on that isn't really the best. So for competitive gameplay, it's not really, you don't really want to use it for that. So I figured out to hook up my Valve Index controllers that So it fixes all the problems of the tracking, and then I get the nicer screens of the Quest 3 and higher FOV. So
This is
definitely
totally unrelated. This is my own personal question, but how do you do that? Do you directly link those controllers to your Quest 3 headset, or is it through Steam VR and stuff?
you have to play in Steam VR. You have to have base station, which I actually had a Pimax headset. Those things are crazy. They have an FOV 2 times the Quest. But it had a cable, and I just could not get used to playing with the cable. I couldn't mount it on my ceiling because my system was too low. So I just had... I ended up having to send that back just because I couldn't really properly play with it. So then I just was like, hey, if I already have the controllers, what if I just hook up my Quest 3 to the controllers and base station using Steam VR? So I just bought some little Bluetooth dongles for the controllers, plugged them into my computer, and then it works pretty well.
Is that an acceptable way to compete in GTC, though?
Technically, we don't technically allow it, but I just think nobody's really pushed for it, because technically the main reason why we banned Steam VR and West is because of the controller latency, but when you're using Valve Index controllers, there's no really the same latency as if you were using Valve Index. So technically, we could unban it. We could bring that up in a mod discussion. Although I used it in rank codes. I think it's fine and pretty fine in rank codes, but probably not official matches currently. So.
All right. So that's pretty much it for the interview. Normal interview for the project that we're working on. But I don't know. It's interesting to get your take on it because you are obviously a board of director member and you're more in the rank code part of it as far as your personal preference on what you play. But maybe, do you have any questions you think would be good for this that maybe I could use in future ones?
I liked the what was your favorite moment? I like that question a lot. What was your favorite experience or moment in comp? I like that one. I thought that one was pretty good. I don't know about anything else, so I'm trying to think. I don't think I can think of anything off the top of my head.
I thought of one just now. All right, being a pretty experienced competitive player, in your mind, not only what is the best GTC team in your mind, but who do you see as the top player in the league, in your personal opinion?
With Silly just winning Season 3, I think it's pretty obvious with my choice of Silly being the best team, but the best player, I'd also have to probably say they're someone within Silly. I just see them doing a lot of practice and they have a lot of dedication to GTC and the game. They put a lot of effort in. I don't know if I can call it a single person, but it's definitely probably one of the people that are on GTC or that are on Silly that are going to probably be one of the better people. Oh, technically, we have the leaderboard on the website, Girl Tech Comp website, but talking about for the actual GTC game mode and not rank codes, I'd probably have to say it's somebody on Silly.
All right, cool. I feel like that's going to be a good question because I'm sure I'm going to get at least one person that's going to be like, obviously me, obviously whoever
I'm the best.
I feel like that's one true
that would
answer.
Be good for, yeah. He's probably going to say that after the match because of how he only got tagged twice or whatever. So.
Yo, out of those 13 rounds, I think he really was only tagged one time.
I know, he did good. Afterburners, I heard they didn't get any warm-ups or anything in, so...
I'm pretty sure Grape Juice, I think Grape Juice was having issues too, which in the semifinals, he was actually killing it, so it's kind of sad to see.
It would have been nice if that was a little bit of a little closer of a match in terms of score-wise, but it was still good. Still pretty good. A lot of good running.
There's always this thing that I see with those games. I think I said it last night too, which was that sometimes teams can be extremely good and they might do it extremely good throughout the season, but then depending on what players are playing in that specific match, they could be so incompatible that all of a sudden they look like a terrible team, but it's just because that team covers all the bases that they're good at. So that's kind of a crazy...
Yeah, no. One or two players on a team can completely change how the whole flow and the dynamic of how that whole team works. So that definitely could have happened for that match.
Because I know Silly has some insane wall players that just literally were just on the top of slip walls 90% of the game, it looked like. And
no, they have Magusta. He's insanely fast, at least on ground. He's insanely fast. Pretty sure he's pretty fast on walls too. I don't know. I don't know who would be on the slip walls though. Pig likes some, but he wasn't playing. But
Megusa was actually sitting right on the border at the top of walls
yeah,
before slip walls, and then he would just like hang out up there. He would drop down onto the ground, sprint across the back of the map, and then just go right back up. I was like, "Yo, what's
yeah, no,
he doing?" It was so
he's
funny.
insanely fast. I've known him. He was on my comp team 2 years ago, 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So I've known him for a while, and he's always been insanely fast. So
If
yeah.
you can send him a message, I really want to interview him, but he didn't respond to me. So,
I could reach out to him definitely.
and we're doing this project obviously for GTC, but would you be cool if I use some of this between you and me that maybe not that part of the content for the GTC side of it, but maybe throw it in some of my Barely VR news stuff?
That'd be awesome. I love your news. I always watch them. I think I like them.
Do you want to comment on the finals match? I mean, we already talked about it a little bit, but just for my newest video that's going to come out.
I could say something. Would you want to ask a question or just say, "Oh, well, what did you think of the Billy?"
What did you think of the finals match between Silly and Afterburners? And is there anybody in particular that you want to shout out or thank for everything that went down this season?
The match was great, even though the score was pretty far apart. The actual gameplay was still top notch. Some of the best players on each team, and Afterburners did manage to get a point at the end there, so they had it in them, but good job, Silly. And this whole thing GTC would not have been possible without the wonderful staff team, the board of directors, admin team, moderator team, and all the new trial mods we're bringing on. And, of course, the players of GTC that make it up. So, just thank you to everybody for doing all that, for everybody participating. That's what makes GTC work.
So, nice. All right. Thank you very much, Fizzy. This was perfect because you're the perfect person to start with and trial and ask some questions about.
Yeah. I'm glad I could make it out right now. Worked out perfectly. I had nothing going on.
All right, man. I'll catch you later.
Peace.
Peace out.
Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that bell for notification.